Page 4, silver bells. 3/4 time. It has a pickup beat. We're coming in on beat 3 and we have eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and. So we're coming in on 3 and. At the beginning, right hand. Third finger is here, so that puts your hands here. So let's talk about the right hand. So it's 3 and. 3 and then the rest, the left hand takes over. And then you have it on beat 3 here. 3 and rest, rest. And then the left hand does its thing. Last measure, second line is an FA. Together. Put your hands in that position for these two fingers a little, and you just lower the hand. And then raise it up for the for the eighth notes. And that about all you're doing on this page. At the bottom, the last two measures, the F, that's tied, so you're going to hold it down for the full 6 counts, the full 2 measures. And then on page 5, first measure you're resting. Second measure is 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now this is a little tricky when you go here to here to here. That causes some people problems. What I do is I use the weight to help push the notes down. So when I'm playing the G, I just raise the wrist up a little. I hold the note down, and as I lower the wrist, I just lift up that finger and let the other notes push it. Because the other notes are down, I'm just waiting for me to lower the wrist with them at the same time and then lift up the fourth finger. You practice that, it's doable. I mean, it's right there, I did it. That's what you do. Going on. 1 and 2, and that's tied. That F at the end of the first line. Second line. 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 rest. And this is the same thing I was talking about on the first line. We're 1 note to 2 notes. I'm just rolling the hand a little bit, and as I do, the little finger comes up and the other notes go down. You can lower the wrist on it. Well, it takes a little practice. Then the third line you get the same as the first line, and then the fourth line is just... We have first and second endings. Remember how those work? We're going to do the first ending and the repeat sign. That sends us back to the reverse repeat sign over at the top of page 12. So we're going to go back to there. We're going to play the whole mess again, and then come down to the bottom of page 5. At this time we skip the first ending because we've done it. You only do it once. And we do the second ending, and then we end. Then we can stop. For the left hand, you're starting out second finger on C, so that puts your left hand in this position. So it's like it comes in on beat 1 after the pickup. So it's 1, 2, rest. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. B flats. Remember the B flat, it applies to the rest of the measure. So. And the last 2 measures, when the first B flat comes along, the second B is also flat. And the last measure on the first line, that last B is also flat because that B flat still applies. It's in the same measure. And then the second line is a rest. Now you come down and put your thumb on C. Now you're here. You have a quarter rest, you can move there. And then you come down. So it's rest, 1, 2, 3. We got that B flat again. Now they want you to put your second finger on C. We're back where we were. And that other B is still a B flat. Then the third line is similar to the first, and the fourth line is similar to the second, isn't it? On page 5. Now the right hand or the left hand gets some melody. 1 and the fourth finger here, because remember we're here actually. 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3, and that's tied. You're going to hold it down, and then a rest, and at the end of the line it's 1 and 2. And this is the same thing I'm doing with the right hand. When I go from 1 note to 2, I'm just lowering the wrist, and as I do, I lift up the index finger and let the other fingers play. Takes a little practice. Second line, one. There's a lot of B flats in this. And then the third line is similar to the first. And then the last line, you're here. And then a B flat C. And then the first, the endings, they're about the same. Is that? So when you put the hands together, it's that one. You're here, 2, and here. You're here. So it's here. 3 and 1 and 2. 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and. You get all that counting. You have to count it very carefully. And that's why we learn it one hand at a time first, so you sort of have an idea what's going on. So the last two measures of the first line is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 3 and 1, 2. And then you do this bunch more of the same thing. Let's go to the top of page 5. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1, 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and then you do some more of that. Now it's medium loud mezzo forte, MF at the beginning. Normally I'd say that's the melody, you bring out the melody, but in this piece I'm not going to say that. Just do the best you can. The melody's going back and forth and you got things going on, so just do the best you can. We want to hear the melody. If you can make it the melody flow like that, then by all means do it, but that takes some control, so just do the best you can. At the beginning, 3 and 1 and 2 and. See, the melody's going back and forth. And then you do that again. Let's go over the top of page 5. Here. This is with fourth finger here now, right? Yeah. It's 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and. And we're going to crescendo up to loud. Now there's not a lot of difference between medium loud and loud. You just get a little louder. Again, now we decrescendo. You had that arrow at the end of the second line. Now we're back down to medium loud. So now crescendo again. Back up to loud. Now at the beginning of the last line, you're already loud. Don't get louder. Come back down to a medium. Start that line at medium loud and then go back up to loud. Where you want that third measure is where you're loud. Don't get loud before then. Etc. Now at the end, when you do the second ending there, that has a retardando. You can slow down a little bit. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, off. I'd like to tell you to bring out the melody and play everything else soft, but that takes a certain amount of control, and in this arrangement that's really hard to do. So just do the best you can and try and make the melody flow. So no matter what hand is playing it, it's at the same level. You think one hand plays the whole melody, make it sound that way, even though two hands are doing it. Let's go through this really slowly together to double check the notes and the rhythms and all. I'm not going to do the dynamics. You can do that. So we come in on beat 3. So I'm going to give us 2 counts and then we'll begin. And we are going to take first to second endings just like it's written. So put your hands where they go. Ready and go, and. And 3 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 1 and repeat. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3 and. Second ending.